Welcome to Pageant Planet's podcast, where we share stories and strategies to help expand and connect the global pageant community. Visit pageantplanet.com to find pageants, hire coaches, shop for dresses, and more. Now, here's your host, Stephen Roddy.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode. Today, Jesse and myself, we are going to be discussing the life of Kendra Hale. So, Jesse, set the stage for us.
Stephen, our podcast subject, Kendra Hale, has the unique honor of having a personal connection to Pageant Planet that none of our other podcast subjects have. They might have one in other ways, but this is like really the most personal. And it's a fun story about you, Stephen, the founder of Pageant Planet, and coincidentally, one of the narrators of the podcast. So why don't I have you tell the story of how you know Kendra Hale?
Yes. Oh, I didn't know this, but at the time, and I really didn't even know it after, but Kendra, I saw her at a pageant, I don't know, it was like several years later, and she said, "Oh, I've got this funny story to tell you." And I said, "Okay, what is it?" She said, "Well, she was competing at Princess America Nationals at Disney World at the time. And this was the trip that I took Renata on, and Renata is, well, spoiler alert, she's my wife. But this is the trip that she came on, and I proposed to her, Disneyland, which she just loves Disney. If you know Renata, it's just like Disney and love and romanticism.
Did you get Disney Plus yet, by the way?
No, I haven't. I just heard that they're pulling it all off of streaming, and that you can only get Disney now through Disney Plus. Actually, you're the one who told me that.
It's worth the 7-day free trial, and then you'll be hooked. But anyway, continue.
Another streaming device.
Plug, no ad free.
So as Renata and I were leaving the hotel, and I had this whole day planned as far as like how I was going to propose and do that, and I was wearing my book bag, and because I got this book bag special so I could hide the ring as I was taking Renata to Disneyland to actually it was Disney World, right? Disney World is the one in Florida. Yes. So so it's Disney World is the one in Florida to propose, and Kendra, she as she tells it, she saw Renata and I walk out. So she says, "I'm the last pageant girl to ever see you single before you like got engaged." Right? So that's what she says is her claim to fame. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool," because she said, "I remember we were there, and it was kind of like." "Oh, look, there's Stephen Roddy." And this is what she said. She said, "Oh, look, there's Stephen Roddy." And she didn't know Renata's name at the time. And she was like, "And who's that girl?" Like, cause like Renata and I weren't very public about our relationship. Just kind of kept it low key cause she was a title holder and didn't want to distract away from her reign, all that stuff. But yeah, anyway, so we went there, came back, and the next day we just announced like, okay, like we're engaged, and it was a big to-do, and Kendra was like, "Oh, I'm the last person to see you single." So, and that was the deal.
And that's like the cutest fun fact. I love that we shared that. It's great when we can make those connections with our Pageant Planet family. So yeah. What did Renata say?
Well, she said yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she said yes. And one of the things that was really cool, and I won't go into all of it, but there was a whole build up, like a 7-day build up. And actually, even before then, we actually got into a fight because I was like, I don't really think we're ready to get married. Yeah, like I'm not ready.
Were you just throwing her off the side?
Yeah, totally. Like I'm like, it's probably going to be a few years, and it did not go down well. But I just wanted to make absolute sure, and I stuck to my guns. I'm like, I'm just not ready, just not there. But there was a whole build up thing. She went through a lot, poor girl. But anyways, I was friends with the person that manages the park at Disney, so then they let us in. And they got photographers to kind of follow us all the way out, like to there. So taking snapshots of us going up to the tower. And then when we're there, the magic word was Dumbo. So I went up to the photographer and I said, "Dumbo." And then she knew I was the guy that she was supposed to take photos of, like before I got proposed. So she was clearing everybody out, and when I was like, "Wow, this photographer's amazing!" Like, I mean, they're like specialized attention. And then I had this ring cam, which you can Google it. So it's a camera built into the ring box. So you like open it and you see the video and all that stuff. So like you can see.
I've never seen the video.
Well, here's the thing about that.
No.
It was just like it's such a flawed design. But I mean, I was like practicing like proposing to people like leading up, like just to get the angle right and make sure it's charged. And but yeah, so there was a design flaw because you had to like push a button down, hold it down for like 3 seconds for it to start recording. Well, like you're freaking out, right? I mean, like,
yeah.
So anyways, I did it and all that. And then it was like, oh, it didn't record.
No.
Oh, but anyways, so I sent it back and I told the people, like, just do an on-off button. Come on, like, so, and I mean, it's like, this is silly. But anyways, so we got our photos and she said yes. And I designed a ring. So, and now I'm going into way too much detail. But yeah, anyway, so it was cool. And Kendra was the first person or last person to see us single. There's
Very
that.
nice.
There's that. I caught myself getting long-winded about it, but no, it's really special time for us.
Romanticizing the moment.
Yeah,
you're allowed to reflect. But
okay.
So aside from that amazing story, Kendra Hale, absolutely fascinating young lady, and she has lived a remarkable life thus far and done some impressive things. So she loves to travel. She's already been to 26 states, 13 countries, and many of those visits she accomplished during her years of service as a title holder. In fact, she's a 3-time national title holder, some of the biggest and most prestigious pageant systems in the U.S., including, and Stephen, why don't you read this list of titles?
Yeah, so her titles include National American Miss 2018/19, USA National Miss 2017, USA National Miss Virginia 2017, Outstanding Miss of America 2016 to 2017, Princess America's District of Columbia Miss, and Princess America District of Columbia Teen. Wow.
Yes. And since we're including fun facts today, Kendra is a style spokesperson for Marc Defang, and he named a shoe after her. And she also loves to clog, although not in her Marc Defang shoes. And for those that don't know, Marc Defang shoes are usually strassed, which means they're covered in crystals and they're custom and they're absolutely gorgeous. And Kendra is also the proud owner of a little Yorkshire Terrier named Titan.
That feels like a bit of an over name there for a Yorkshire
It's a
Terrier.
spirit, Stephen.
Yes.
He's a Titan in spirit.
It's like calling a very large person tiny, but
Yes.
just in the reverse. So we went to our Instagram and said like, hey, like, what did you think of Kendra? And so some people said some very nice things about her. And one of it is, looks like Racy_Elizabeth96. And she said, where do I start? Kendra is one of the most loving and caring people in this world. From the first time that I met her, I was in the 2nd grade and she was in the 1st. And she always had the biggest heart for helping people. The world is a better place because of her. And I am most definitely a better person because she is in my life. I am so thankful I get to call her my best friend. So sweet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kendra Hale is the only child, and she grew up in a small town in southwestern Virginia called Christiansburg. Sounds like a very holy town. She graduated as valedictorian from Christiansburg High School and Southwest Virginia Governor's School.
And Kendra recalls that in her hometown, pageants were not common, and many people didn't understand the different aspects of being involved in pageants, such as going after scholarships, being goal-oriented, and being of service. And she believes in leading by example, so she worked extra hard to prove to everyone that pageants were filled with smart, accomplished contestants that were working hard on accomplishing their dreams.
Yeah, and Kendra says, I wanted to be an inspiration to young girls everywhere by showing that your circumstances and surroundings do not define who you are or who you will become.
And Kendra's pageant journey started when she was 13, 14-ish, and shortly thereafter became involved with the Princess America pageant system. And she first won the title of Princess America's District of Columbia Teen, which Stephen already said, and eventually she became Princess America's District of Columbia Miss.
And Kendra demonstrated her pageant promise early on and began earning titles and awards almost instantly. During her pageant experience with Princess America, she won the Princess America's Difference Maker Award, as well as Princess America's Leadership and Academic Excellence Award. And once this fresh-faced Virginia girl got smitten by the pageant bug, there was absolutely no turning back, and she soon earned the first national title, Outstanding Miss of America 2016-2017.
And Kendra admits that her introduction to the world of pageantry was difficult because she really had no frame of reference for competing, nor did she know anyone who competed. But she didn't let her lack of knowledge intimidate her or make her feel inadequate. She used all the tools and resources that she could find, and she asked for help.
And she had this to say. She said, since I was a latecomer, I didn't know a lot about what was going on and had to work really hard to learn everything I needed to know. I utilized resources such as Pageant Planet and other publicly available information to learn about different organizations and competitions. I worked with incredible people to learn the right skills, and I didn't let my lack of knowledge stop me.
And in March 2017, Kendra decided to enter the USA National Miss Pageant in her home state, and she ended up walking away with the title of USA National Miss Virginia. And UNM is an award-winning national pageant organization that exists to enrich the lives of young women ages 4 to 25 through an unsurpassed pageant experience that leaves them encouraged, renewed, and inspired. And as always, our pageant Planet podcasts are not related to any solicitations or ads. So we're just giving you the facts here.
Yep. And the program recognizes the personal achievement, community involvement, and excellence of young women across the USA and a fun and trendy community of sisters who become ambassadors of many worthy causes and charities, including the pageant's national anti-bullying platform.
And for Kendra, this pageant was a perfect fit for personality and goals. And she felt that she finally found a brand that allowed her to contribute to her community in a positive and meaningful way. And she earned 4 staggering additional awards that night, along with the crown, the UNM Virginia Spirit of Pageantry Award, the Best Interview Award, Supermodel, Role Model, etc. So she kind of rounded it all out, from the look on the stage to the behind the scenes.
Cleaned house. And in August of 2017, she competed at nationals representing her state of Virginia alongside delegates and throughout the United States to claim the national crown, scholarship money, and an extensive prize package during the national pageant, which is held in Florida. One of the covenant honors that she received that night was to be included in the top 5 of the USA National Miss Role Model Awards. And for someone like Kendra, who thrives on helping others and cultivating a strong work ethic, being recognized by UNM for being a positive role model to her peers was a huge deal. And just kind of a side note to this, regardless of where you are in the world, Australia, South Africa, like India, UK, Canada, like there are so many pageants out there. And we've said this before in other podcasts that have tremendous rewards, benefits, perks to winning the title, prizes. Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking scholarship money, you're talking cruises, trips to Florida, like Disney World, all that. I mean, those are some of the things that USA National Miss provide, and they're not something that's even like nationally known, internationally like well known. They're just a national pageant here in the United States. So there are other systems like that in South Africa, in all the different countries I just said, Canada, etc. That you could get plugged into and get tremendous like rewards and benefits of being involved with. Yep.
And UNM describes itself as part girls empowerment and part pageant. So there are a ton of pageants with that philosophy now. It's kind of like a new wave. And they believe that they have a responsibility to immerse their delegates with positive messages and encouraging motivation while connecting them with well-known role models. And just when she thought it couldn't get any better in Florida this time in 2017, she ended up winning the national title of USA National Miss 2017.
Yeah, one of her first adventures as a national royalty was a trip to Atlantic City to attend the Miss America pageant, as well as being allowed to walk in the fashion show for New York Fashion Week. Kendra also received a 3-year modeling contract from MMG Model Management in New York City as part of her national title.
And during her year with UNM, she completed over 1,000 hours of community service, advocating and volunteering for charities and special causes. And she traveled over 40,000 miles to over 20 states and 4 countries. And I'm going to do a shameless plug here, Stephen, if I might.
Yeah.
So when you're traveling that much as a title holder, one, you can't look like a hot mess. You have to have your stuff together and look polished, because you never know who you're going to meet and when opportunity is going to present itself. And 2, you have to protect your garments, because they're getting shoved in overhead compartments, or you're checking luggage, or whatever it might be. You invest a lot into your pageant wardrobe. So we have a product on our website. It's called the Omnia Garment Bag, and it has a hanger built into it. So again, Omnia Garment Bag. And the way it works is it's like a regular garment bag, but there's additional compartments for your shoes, for your jewelry. And then it all folds up nicely into a duffel bag. So you don't have to have that bulky traditional garment bag. It really is concise and easy to pack for. And you can find it at shop.pageantplanet.com. And the cost is $58 to $61, depending on the size that you get.
Awesome. Perfect.
So it's simply mind-boggling how much Kendra has accomplished during her year as UNM 2017. She spent so much time on the road, reaching out to other people and volunteering her time. And I wonder if she slept at all.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking 1,000 hours of community service. If you're just doing the math at home, like divided by 24, that's like 41 and a half full days. That's like over a month of just continual effort, actually, And
then 40,000 miles of travel. I mean, that doesn't take a short amount of time.
Yeah. So a lot of time invested there. But because UNM is a charity-driven organization, Kendra enjoyed promoting her personal platform, Healing Hearts, throughout her year of service. And she also loved supporting UNM's national anti-bullying platform, The Crown Cares. And CARES is an acronym for Creating a Respectful Environment in Schools.
And through the pageant, Kendra was able to visit classrooms to talk about bullying awareness and prevention. And this kind of one-to-one connecting is something that Kendra is especially skilled at. And we actually saw that case in point through the Instagram messages that we received about her. And we'll hear more of that later. So she really did end up being the perfect person for the job.
Yep. And no doubt the kids that got to meet Kendra and hear her message must have come away feeling like they had just met someone who really cares about them and their concerns. She said that she was thrilled to have the chance to take the platform international to multiple countries throughout the year, which is something that she really wanted to achieve during her reign.
And after a year at USA National Miss ended, Kendra won her last title to date and became the 2018-2019 National American Miss. And this girl is totally racking up the frequent flyer miles because in this year, she's been to 18 states, traveled tens of thousands of miles, especially during her NAM summer tour. During summer tour, she attended Alabama, California, Iowa/Nebraska, Georgia, Florida, Kansas, Missouri, Virginia, Maryland state pageants. Whew.
Now that is a lot of gowns to wear for all those different pageants and appearances. Yeah. And next it's time to do a shameless plug. So Pageant Planet, you can now buy gowns on Pageant Planet. Contestants from all over the world can upload their cost, and there's no cost to upload the dresses and then you can purchase those. So if you live in South Africa, you can buy from girls in South Africa or the Philippines. And if you don't currently see a dress that's listed in your country and you've got an extra dress, go ahead and list it because you can sell it, and you can sell it right there. So you can buy them now, pageantplanet.com/dresses.
Buy my stuff.
Yes, Jesse's got some stuff on there that's totes adorbs. Buy it.
Yes. Buy it, please. Anyway, so one thing that's really cool about NAM is that the National Queens all work together year round, not only to promote the system, but to also go into the community and support each other's projects. And one day the social media challenge was to discuss one of those projects. And throughout her year, Kendra supported her little sister, Queen Allie, with her Buddy Bench project. And she publicly thanked their supporters and showed pictures of the new bench. I love this.
Yeah, the idea for the Buddy Benches are put into local elementary schools. And whenever a child is feeling lonely, sad, or even being bullied, he or she can sit on that bench. And it's a sign to all the other children that they need a buddy. Then any other children can go and sit next to the child on the bench. They don't have to talk. They don't have to say a word. They don't have to do anything but sit. The act of sitting next to another child is powerful to everyone who sees it on the playground, and it is a visual reminder that they're always a safe place to go if you need a buddy. So cute.
Isn't that great? And then I also think it's a great message for teachers too.
Yeah.
And adults. Like, that's a great way. Like, a lot of times children can't verbalize that to adults, but if they see that, it's a great starting point. So love that idea. So creative and so necessary. And another day in that social media challenge was to promote each queen's role model. And Kendra posted that her biggest role model is her mother. She's the true definition of hardworking. She helps me take care of so many different things, and I couldn't get through this year without her. And she puts in extra hours to help me get everything ready and is my biggest supporter.
Kendra is a big believer that in order to be successful in life, and especially in pageantry, you absolutely must put together your very own support network. She says, I truly believe that for every person who is working against you, there are a million people that will support you. You have to find the people that will be on your side and support and challenge you to be a better person. When I felt like the world was against me, I would call those mentors and people in my life.
So this is a coaching moment because Kendra's absolutely right. You need to find your tribe and build that village that will help you get to your goals. And I think it's broken down into 5 key personalities that you need in your tribe. So the first one is that unconditional supporter. Usually it's a parent or a family member that just thinks you're great and you could fall on your face and they think you were robbed. Like that is the type of person we're talking. The second person you need is an opinionated loved one. So this is somebody that definitely has a point of view on what they think you should wear, who they think you are, how you should present yourself. Maybe they're observing other people and they're opinionated upon them. So you need the unconditional and the opinionated. And then the third person is a mentor, someone you can just go to that you aspire to have their qualities at some point in your life, and that can help give you guidance. They're not necessarily have to be connected to the pageant world, but they certainly can be. But they are your source of aspiration, inspiration, and guidance. And then 4, you need your opinionated coach. You need a coach with a direct point of view that's not going to just say, oh yeah, if you're whatever makes you happy, because a great coach is looking at your brand, they're looking at trends in the industry, and they'll be able to steer you in ways that marry both of those. And then the last is number 5, and that's your tiebreaker. And I've talked about this before, is when you go evening gown shopping, let's say, and you've developed your 5 brand words, it's those 3 personality words that describe you and 2 words that describe your personal style. And you often get in there and you get overwhelmed and you start putting on things that are not the colors that you think represent you, or not the silhouettes or the styles. And you might love it and everyone else might love it, but it might be a total deviation from where you started. And that person is like the brand word advocate. Like they're the ones that are stepping in and say, you know what? It's a gorgeous dress. You look amazing. But does it say these things? And they keep you grounded. So those are the 5 people in your tribe I think you need to have.
Okay, what if someone's starting off right now and they don't feel like they have any of these people? What one person should they get first, do you feel? And where would they find that person?
Yeah, so I think the one person they can get first is an opinionated coach, right? And we're lucky with Pageant Planet because we offer very affordable services for those that are just getting started. Our VC membership, it's virtual coaching only, but you can ask as many questions as you want and send in as many pieces of wardrobe or paperwork that you need. And it's $29 a month for unlimited support. And that way, at least you know you're making the right choices for the industry and your presentation. I had a contestant this week send me a high-low gown as one of her evening gown options, and she would never have known that that's not an appropriate option for evening gown. Usually high-low dresses are not as successful. So she sent that in and it was like, oh my gosh, thank you. I had no idea. So at least if you have that opinionated coach, at least you know you're on the right path. And then once people start seeing your passion and dedication, the other 4 people might fall into place naturally as they see you spending time and energy on it.
Yeah, agreed. And they can find that by going where?
They can go to pageantplanet.com and click Pageant Prep.
Cool. All right. So Kendra said that of all of her required competitions, she, all caps, loved the interview competition because it gives her a chance to share her goals and dreams with the coaches. She gives an example from a real life interview that she once had. Jessie?
She said, in one of my national interviews, I was asked, what is something you would tell your 16-year-old self? And I responded by stating that I would tell them, you are good enough, regardless of what anybody says. However, that is something I would tell my current self and my future self. I think it's a lesson that all of us could learn from again and again.
Oh, yeah. Same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like the majority of pageant girls, Kendra has been involved in a lot of service organizations throughout her time in pageantry. She's gotten involved in a variety of levels and capacities with charities such as the Open Book Project, Butterfly Hugs, Knit a Square, Relay for Life, Give Kids the World, and Ronald McDonald House.
And in fact, she was a recipient of the gold level Presidential Volunteer Service Award. And for our listeners who don't know what that is, the President's Council on Service and Civic Participation founded the Volunteer Service Award in 2003 to recognize the important role of volunteers in America's strength and national identity.
Kendra was given the gold medal, the highest you can achieve, because she donated over 250 hours of unpaid acts of volunteer service benefiting others within a 12-month period. If you're not passionate about your platform, you would never, do this or take this particular action. So that is extremely impressive. And she even received a personal thank you letter from the President of the United States.
But despite Kendra's intense involvement with a variety of charities and causes, the personal project that she's most passionate about, which we already mentioned, was Healing Hearts, which is dedicated to enhancing the lives of others. And it's originally dedicated to helping hospital patients and their families. And she has now expanded her platform to helping the lives of everyone.
Yeah, the word HEARTS stands for helping, encouraging, achieving, reading, teaching, and supporting. The idea is centered around empowering individuals everywhere to achieve their dreams. It also serves as an inspiration to help those individuals overcome their obstacles.
And the platform puts a significant focus on using literacy as one of the mechanisms to achieve this goal. And through her charity, Kendra has donated over 2,000 books to underprivileged children and adults.
Kendra explains that the personal feelings and beliefs that drive what she does. She says, as far as my personal platform, I've been involved with many different service organizations in the past, from Kid Kids the World to the Ronald McDonald House to Relay for Life, etc. I saw that the common thread between all those service organizations is that they are all helping to empower and support individuals. And that's why I started Healing Hearts. I wanted to do the same thing. I wanted to fill the gap that is often left when people are going through a hard time. I also wanted to be there to be an aspect of setting and achieving goals within my platform.
And she continues, I live beside several counties that have high poverty rates, and I feel a strong connection and desire to serve those counties. I have done so by collecting and donating books to those in need, and I have already donated several thousand books. And I do this because of a strong sense of citizenship and desire to serve my country, my community, and her country, I guess, in turn.
Yeah. Kendra has also started a champion program that allows people to get in touch with their artsy self while still helping others. During her reign as National American Miss, she started working with a new service organization called Butterfly Hugs. The organization collects handmade butterflies and then attaches little notes of encouragement. The butterflies are then placed in hospitals, nursing homes around the country, so these individuals always have access to a little bit of encouragement. Kendra knows what it's like to have loved ones in the hospital, and she wanted to make sure that these people know that someone is there for them.
And to date, she has probably collected over 1,000 handmade butterflies that were created by people from across the U.S.
Wow. And the state of Virginia educational system consistently ranks the top 5 states in the U.S. Department of Educational's National Assessment of Educational Progress. Leave it to the government to have a title that long. With Virginia students outperforming the average in all aspects, or all subject areas and grade levels tested.
So it comes as no surprise that this Virginia girl puts an education at the top of her list too. First, she was an AP Honors Scholar, and the AP Scholar Award recognizes high school students who have demonstrated exemplary college level achievements on AP exams. And an AP Scholar with honors is granted to students who receive an average score of at least 3.25 on AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more of these exams. So for those listening that have no idea what that means, it just means she's very smart.
Yes. And if you're not from the U.S., you probably don't. But yeah, those are very accomplished awards. And so Kendra graduated in May of 2017 from Virginia Tech with a Bachelor's of Science in Environmental Policy and Planning and a Bachelor of Arts in Public and Urban Affairs. She has received a minor in Leadership and Social Change and graduated summa cum laude.
So I want to jump in with another coaching moment because I can just feel people listening to this podcast and be like, well, I don't have those accomplishments. I'm not in AP courses. I'm not in advanced anything. And I want them to know that just control the things you can control. And I'll be honest, most of us don't love school or naturally excel in school, at least in the traditional sense. However, you can't argue with scholastics. And while it's not a deal breaker as a young person, this is an area of accomplishment that if you apply yourself can come very easily. So if you're looking at your resume and you're like, oh my gosh, I have no achievements, no accomplishments. Okay, well, can we bust our tails a little bit this next semester and try to get on the dean's list? That's a really easy accomplishment that's very widely respected. Or can I, if I'm great in science and math, can I buckle down and really try to get some STEM related awards or accolades or see what scholarships are available for specifically science, math, technology, and engineering. Is engineering the E in STEM?
I think so. But you know what?
Science, technology.
They didn't have STEM when I was like in school. So, and I was in such a small school that they probably still don't have. They probably still
STEM
haven't
came
integrated.
in like the last 10 years, which I don't think I was in school either, which is so sad. But anyway, so that's what I want you to say. Like, if you are spending all your energy in your extracurriculars or hanging out with your friends or binge watching Netflix, I want you to really think about how that's serving you in the long run. If you feel like you're going to get an athletic scholarship, by all means, keep focusing, but don't neglect your studies if you are still in school. There's always going to be time for the other things, because that is one thing, like they always tell you when you're graduating college to put your education first on your resume, because no one's going to say, oh, she has a degree, next. Like they're going to say, okay, she has a degree. What else does she have?
Right.
So it's that one thing that everyone will respect. So put your energy into it. Make it a priority.
Love that. Control the controllables. Control
Yes.
the things you can control. So Kendra got involved in so many different organizations and served in so many different capacity that, you know, as Jesse said, kind of makes your head spin to look at her resume. She served as the College of Architecture and Urban Studies representative and chairperson of the programming committee to the Honors College Student Council.
She also served as the 4-year public university representative to the Virginia Collegiate Honors Council, where she helped plan the state honors conferences. In addition, she was a first-year seminar peer educator for the Honors College for the last 2 years. I mean, we really could go on and on about these accomplishments.
She probably does not have Disney Plus because she probably would not, you know, have the time to watch it.
No, absolutely not.
As an apartment fellow, she was charged with fostering a greater sense of community within the residence hall, which must have been an easy job for Kendra, which since she's just so naturally like very personable, and she had to learn how to find common ground between people as a result of being involved in pageantry.
And I honestly have no idea how she kept up with her studies and did all of this. And she enjoyed being a member of a local dance team as well. And she continued to use her exceptional mediation skills by sitting on the Virginia Tech Student Life Council. And this council served as an advisory board and a bridge between the student body and the Division of Student Affairs Administration. And I don't have this written in the outline for Coaching Moment, but I want to say Kendra was not just competing in pageants to get this experience. She was doing real life activities that were in turn helping her with her pageant. So she wasn't making pageantry her life. She was living life and creating skills that then transitioned. So look for that life experience of how you can gain it without being one-on-one with a pageant coach or being in the gym all the time. These are things that no one else has on her belt that's probably preparing her far and above what you can get with just pageant experience.
It's great. And Kendra attended several international conferences over the course of her time at Virginia Tech, and she also signed up for several fascinating internships. She had the opportunity to study abroad and was able to see the field of planning and policy throughout several different European countries.
And Kendra says that she didn't fully realize it at the time, but that her experiences as a title holder serving as both USA National Miss and National American Miss was quite formative and taught her priceless skills about how to be a leader and an advocate for an organization.
And what she further learned at Virginia Tech only served to connect all the dots so that now she feels confident and capable as a leader in any capacity. And she explained how her philosophy about being a leader changed throughout her studies.
And she said, when I entered Virginia Tech, I took my first leadership class. In that class, I was asked to define leadership. And as I sat down to complete the assignment, I realized I had no formal definition. I knew that a leader was someone who had followers, someone who was influential, and someone who had a few good traits that made them leaders. This was the extent of the thought I had really given leadership prior to my class. And during that time at Virginia Tech, I have come to realize that leadership is so much more. And kind of an expansion on the coaching moment I just said is meet people where they are. They're not going to be pageant people, but there are some accomplishments that are undeniable. So like Kendra said, when she grew up in Christiansburg, there was no one that knew pageants. So she made them understand that pageant people are not just waving in parades. They're in the community. They're chasing their goals, etc. So if you meet a pageant hater, just show them the type of people that compete. And it's people that are focused in civic engagement, leadership, and charitable opportunities.
Yeah. And so Kendra continues to talk about leadership. As she said, I knew that anyone could be a leader. I also knew that some strong traits make certain individuals better at leadership than others. However, I didn't completely realize how these traits could have a strong influence. For example, the ability to communicate is an incredibly important trait to possess as a leader. I also realized that leadership was a process. It wasn't necessarily a single event or a solution to a problem.
Mm-hmm. And she's now pursuing a master's of urban and regional planning and has a personal definition of leadership. And it's her formal version of leadership. And its leadership is a transactional process where leaders and followers are mutually influential. It requires collaboration, communication, and the pursuit of a common purpose. Love that.
I really do like that. Yeah, that's good. She was very open-minded when she began to pursue her advanced degree, but the one thing that became absolutely crucial to her is that she wanted to continue having different leadership experiences throughout graduate school. Eventually, she wants to become a city planner that is focused on overcoming the social and economic disparity issues that are prevalent around the country.
But, this young lady isn't satisfied with doing just one thing at a time. So it follows that she also plans on working with a focus on sustainability and environmental planning.
Shocker. Many of Kendra's friends will be excited to learn that she has now ventured into the world of pageant coaching, and she works with many clients as she can. And when she's not busy with her, graduate studies and all that, she coaches girls for all systems and trains them in all areas of competition, such as interview and onstage question, contestant bio preparation, walking, posing, modeling, and again, it's not sponsored.
And Kendra specializes in preparing contestants for pageants like UNM and National American Miss, and she won a national title in both systems. And she's incredibly modest about her success and the fact that she is changing lives in a different way by coaching. And she says that she has been really fortunate to have worked with many state and even national winners so far, including Alyssa Maurer, Miss High School America, and Kennedy Wetzel, USA National Junior Teen 2019.
Yeah, and again, to reiterate, it's not sponsored, and what we want to do is feature people like Kendra that might not be like Miss USA or a Miss Universe or a Miss World or a Miss International or Miss Earth, something that like maybe the world knows inside of the system, but we want to feature girls like Kendra and like you all throughout the world that are doing very interesting things and are moving their communities forward and really making a positive change, not only just in their small community, but in the country at large, and the ripple effect can be felt on a global way.
Yeah, well said.
And so when discussing her approach and her philosophy with her pageant clients, Kendra's style may be down to earth, but her vision is more strategic. So she said, I have a strong policy and planning background, and we often use SMART technique, which is like you have to set goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. By using this strategy, you'll be able to track your progress and ensure that you're moving in the right direction. And that gives something to evaluate yourself by.
And she reiterates that one of the keys to success for those who really want to pursue their goals and dreams is to build that dream team that we're always talking about here at Pageant Planet. And we already mentioned the 5 people on that dream team. Surround yourself with people who will help you achieve that dream and push you to become a better person, Kendra says. I never thought in a million years that I would have been a national title holder for 2 of the most prestigious systems in the country, but I made it my goal and worked tirelessly to achieve it.
And Kendra always makes it clear to her clients that her ultimate job is one of service. As a title holder, your job is to positively impact this world and make a difference in the lives of others. It's a great privilege, but it's also a great responsibility. Look for opportunities to help others and live a life of service. The best title holders are those who have a servant's heart.
And finally, she makes it clear that winning a title may look easy and almost effortless from the outside, but the obstacles are real and the training can be intense and the entire process can be much harder than you expected.
Life is always going to throw you detours, roadblocks, and if you're focused on achieving your goals, then you'll be able to keep yourself driven. Oftentimes, I had to take a step and reevaluate. Did I need to change my plan? Did I need to take other steps to get back on track? We all know that sometimes being involved in pageantry can be extremely tough. And there are those times when things just don't turn out the way that we have envisioned it. And it can be really painful when that happens. But Kendra's view of what accomplishment really is very encouraging.
Yeah, and she said, never give up. It may take a few tries. If your heart is set on it, keep working towards it. Remember, it is all about the journey, and you never know what little child is looking up and watching you.
And she continues on. She said, I think that the fact that you set a goal and work toward it automatically means that you did not fail. you might have not have achieved exactly what you wanted. It might have taken much longer than you've planned, or it might have not turned out how you wanted it to at all. However, the fact that you are setting goals for yourself is a huge accomplishment.
She wants to leave girls with the message that it doesn't matter where you come from or what obstacles are in your way. If you have your heart set on a dream, then work hard and go for it 110%.
And again, we went to Instagram. And do you want to read this one since I read the last one?
Yeah, this is Kennedy Wetzel, who we just heard is one of her clients and national title holders. And she said, the thing I love most about the Kendra Hale, so that's Kendra's Instagram name, is that despite her tremendous success, she's the most down-to-earth, warm, and fun person. She's not afraid to goof around and have a good time, even though at the end of the day, she is the most, quote, together pageant queen I've ever known. She's just all around fabulous, and I'm honored to call her my friend and sister.
And in closing, Kendra Hale is an exceptional young woman. She's brilliant, talented, thoughtful, ambitious, determined, and sincerely caring. She's one of those people that you meet only a handful of in your lifetime. And when you do, you just never forget them.
And it would not surprise us if one day she ended up becoming the first female president of the United States at the rate she's going.
Yeah. And Kendra is motivated by the desire for a life of fulfillment, personal enlightenment, and a deep desire to help others and make her world a better place. It may sound like a pageant cliche, but this incredible woman is the real deal, and we are all pretty darn lucky to live in a world with someone like her.
Yes, and thank you to Julia Stone, who is our contributor for this week, for compiling all of the information on Kendra. And we'll leave you with a quote by Kendra herself. And she said, be fearless or her favorite quote, be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire.
And thank you for listening. And if you've received any benefit from this show or for ones previous, please consider giving us a 5-star review. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like button and give Kendra a shout out in the comment sections below. These actions might seem like a really small thing, but it really does help Jesse and I keep this show going. Thanks so much.
Want to become a part of pageant history? Create a free contestant or business profile on pageantplanet.com to unlock hidden features and connect with other experts throughout the world.